Good day and welcome to Church of the Poor. I am Father Hayden Augustine of the Missionaries of the Poor, and we have in our studio this evening members from different parts of the states. We have John Pulea from Pine River, Minnesota. We have Maggie Bienick from West Hartford, Connecticut, and Tom Bukers from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But you're in one group, it seems. And I think somebody adopted somebody, and we'll find out about that later on. And we have in our audience members from this group. Tell me, John, you belong to a lay Franciscan group, it seems?
Yeah, I'm a member of the Brothers and Sisters of Charity.
Yes.
This group was founded by John Michael Talbot
Right.
In the late 70s, early 80s.
He's well known, he's famous.
Yeah, yes.
With his guitar.
With his guitar, yes.
Yes. And John has a guitar, and he has a very good...
Well, we could sing something later.
Yes, later on.
And the first time that we came here, not only with my wife, but also with members of our community.
Your community.
Yeah, and to look through our eyes as community members.
What did you do when you came that first time, and what brought you back?
Well, the first time we were at each one of the centers, and so we were with the babies and those who were in the cribs, and with the brothers at the Faith Center, and brothers of Good Shepherd, and with the brothers, and with the brothers of Missionaries of the Poor, and we could just feel, the oneness, the oneness with the residents and the oneness with the brothers, and that identification, with the poor, which we've always longed for.
Yes.
And it was here, and it felt like family. It felt like family. It felt like a place where we should be.
Yes.
So it was easy to come. It was easy to come back. This was like coming back home.
Yes. And your experience back in your community, the States, has it had any effect on
when the second group that we brought?
Yes.
When we came last January, we showed everyone the photographs that we had taken, and told them of our experiences, and talked about the poor, but talked about being one with the poor.
Yes.
And we had people who were touched, and so John, who's out in the audience, he wanted to come with his daughter, and we had other people. So we led a group of 8 or 9 from our local parish who wanted to come, and the local parish was so supportive. We live in rural Minnesota, and it's not an affluent community, and yet when we had fundraisers, people are very generous. They wanted us to go.
Yes.
So they wanted to send us and for us to come and to be with you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Maggie, what brought you here?
So my story, it's quite interesting. Actually, a close friend of mine, Stan Klukowski, went to the Jesuit order together with Father Hulang.
Okay.
And he told me the beautiful story. He was here about a year and a half ago, and he just went on about how joyful the community was. Around that time, I was looking for a place that I could connect with and do some sort of a service for poor. I think it was calling within myself. And
what do you do back in West Hartford?
So I am an Eucharistic minister, and I do volunteer work in a hospital for special care.
Okay.
So similar situation.
Similar,
it's that this is more poorer country versus we go to United States. The setup is totally different, right? So what really encourages me to come back here, it's just the joy that I see in every resident. I just cannot describe it. There is something within their open hearts or eyes. Every time I come here, I take it back with me, and I share it with the community, the people that I work with. And a funny story I want to say is, people ask me, where are you going on vacation? I say, I'm going to Jamaica, right? So, of course, people think about
Montego
Jamaica.
Bay.
I'm going to some type of a resort, right?
Yes.
No, I'm not. This is not where I'm going. I'm going to serve the poor,
Different
right?
Jamaica.
And, they hear the story. They hear the story that I tell them, and it just opens up their eyes as well. Because you do not hear that much people talking about this, right? So I'm so encouraged by, and I'm going to just echo what John said, it's just that tremendous brotherhood, how everything is so connected well. I never felt here alone.
Yes.
Some of the ladies came here for the first time, and they were like worried, well, what time do we need to leave, etc., etc. I said, don't worry, people are going to come and get you. Just enjoy it. They know the routine, right? But I know the anxiousness when I was here for the first time. Right? You don't know how to get around, but the second time it's like, you just don't worry, you just blend in, you just really get closer to people that you get to meet. It's just phenomenal experience. I feel so extremely blessed. I really do. I really do.
And you would have thought that the poor would be sorrowing and sad.
You're absolutely, and this is,
And that's what shocks
we
you.
actually were talking about this the other day. We come here so we can learn from them, right? Although I do try to live simple life, it's still not there. So coming here and just having that refresh of what life is truly all about, right? The materialistic things really don't.
Well,
don't
Jesus
care.
says man does not live by bread alone.
You're absolutely
so
right.
true.
Yes, it's totally true.
It's so
this
true,
is phenomenal reminder, and again, just being in the middle of this joy and being able, try to bring it back to United States as much as I can and share it with everybody.
Yes. Well, you're doing wonderfully now. You're bringing it back already. Tom, tell us your story.
Well, I didn't know anything about the mission.
Right.
But I have family who called me to be here, and good friends that have called me to be here. And I'd known that I'd wanted to do something of this nature, mission work, to be able to reach out and go beyond myself and beyond my community and beyond my family. And I think for me, a lot of it was modeling to my children. I have 4 young children. And of course,
Any of them is here?
No, none of them are here.
Okay.
My oldest is 12, my youngest is 5.
Okay.
But be able to model for them to reach out outside of yourself, outside of your community, outside of our country, and really, when you say do what Jesus would do, and this really, I think, is at its roots very close to what Jesus did do and is doing. And really, when we say mission work, what does that really mean? And for my kids to be able to truly appreciate what they have, and to be able to bring that home and to help them see beyond themselves something bigger, something more important, something to appreciate what they have more, and to be able to have an opportunity like this to be able to bring them in the future to really experience these things and be able to serve people as Jesus served people, and really experience that in a way that is very difficult sometimes for us Americans to look outside of ourselves. So for me, that was a lot of the calling, and spiritually, in America, my life's very busy, and so to come here and simplify things and just
slow down,
and just be part of, just sit and be present with the Eucharist, and experience the brotherhood of that the brothers bring, and the peace of just silence, which is so. It sounds strange, but very difficult to do in our lives that we live sometimes.
Society,
So
you talked about all of you talked about the brothers and that dynamic that takes place. John, you mentioned. I want you to talk about the brothers at their homes in the monasteries.
Yes.
How does that connect the prayer life, for instance, or the community life?
Well, that's what I wanted to mention after Tom mentioned it. That what a great blessing and how grateful we all are to be invited into the home, your home, at Jesus Redeemer, to be invited into the home, the prayer life of the brothers, and to enter into the rhythm of the liturgy of the hours, and experience the Mass, and that you have the opportunity for adoration together with the brothers. it flows so well then into the work
The
that
work.
you're doing into the centers. And
Yes.
so it's like this breathing in and out, the breathing in of the prayer life
Right.
and the breathing out of the ministry.
Yes.
And it just becomes one.
Yes.
And we're so appreciative. Everyone I talk to, they're very appreciative and thankful
Yes.
and grateful.
Yes, yes, yes.
I will serve you, my sweet Jesus, my beloved Lord, who leadeth me. I will serve you, my sweet Jesus, my sweet Jesus, to thee.
Tom?
For me, the interesting thing, you think of the brothers being here and being maybe some elite group of people that are so different than we are. But when it comes down to it, they're very similar to you and I.
Yes.
Right? They're,
Oh, definitely.
You get to know them.
Yes,
You talk about
yes,
they talk
yes.
about their families.
Yes.
They're people like you and I, and they go about their day, and you see them in their daily life. I have a great deal of respect for the lives they live and the sacrifices they make, and how, like John said, it's the way that they live, and I admire much of that simplicity and the dedication they have. But they're everyday people like you and I who have made a commitment to Jesus and to this lifestyle that I have a great deal of respect for. But at the end of the day, it's just a great environment to be in around the brothers. Yeah.
And you think it can help your own family life?
Absolutely.
Maybe you relate to your wife
Absolutely.
and your kids and
Yes.
your... Yeah?
Yeah, there are many things I think I could take from this experience, even so far that I've taken in being a father, being a husband, being a better community member, involvement in my church, all of these things that, like I say, if I can go to, I go to conferences with work, and I say, if I can take just one thing, it's been worth it. And from here, I think it would be easy to take many things
Yes.
that will have a much bigger and greater impact
Great.
on myself, my family, my community, I think. So yes.
In the audience, there are members of your family. Well,
Yes.
I think both your families. We'll hear from them now. We'll start with the mic on the extreme right, my right. That young man there looking at me. Yes, yes, yes. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Jacob Rubel, and I'm also from Minnesota, around
Right.
the same area as John.
Yes.
I'm a little bit farther south than him, if
Okay.
if we're going to be technical, but yeah, I hail from Jenkins, Minnesota. So
Okay. And how has it been so far
I've loved it.
between
It's-
Jenkins and Jamaica?
Yeah, it's a much different experience.
Yes,
and
I can imagine.
It's so beautiful here.
Yes.
It's just amazing to be around these people and work with them and make a difference in their lives.
Yes.
I mean, you look at them and they light up when they see you because you're so different than
Yes,
them, and
yes, yes.
you help them in every way.
Right,
It's
right,
just part of their lives. It's,
Right.
it's amazing.
Good, wonderful. Yes. Next. Yes,
I'm Marilyn Bukers, and I am from Minnesota.
right.
And 4 of these children here are mine, along with along with my grandchild Conrad.
Okay.
I guess I agree with Barb. It's very, I don't know what you'd say, overwhelming for me, just the feelings that I have had in experiencing the work with the poor. And I think for myself, what it's done for me is probably more than I would ever be able to do for them. And I just had so many touching things happen. And today I was feeding a woman, and I was telling my kids, here I was crying while I'm feeding this woman at the center. I mean, I've just been touched in so many, many ways,
Yes,
and
yes.
seeing the love and the care that they receive. And just looking around, and it's just wonderful. Like I'd like to say too, the thank you for the brothers and all their hospitality, and how much work they do right now. They're really busy.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Pass it to the grandson.
So I'm Conrad Buchers, and I'm from Pine River, Minnesota, as well as John and my father and my grandma.
Yes.
And I just have the wonderful privilege of being here with all my family and many of my community members. And I was trying to think of something that I could put this whole experience into words, and it's basically just like I always think of the term like, what would Jesus do? And this what we're living here this is exactly what Jesus is doing. And I just can't say that enough. It's a wonderful experience, like all across the board. It's great.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, he would do this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. And the next? Yes.
My name is John Buchers. I am Tom's brother.
Right.
A member of the Buchers family.
Right. And the father of...
And the father of Conrad,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And this is my...
Yes, okay, sorry. Yes.
And this is my second visit here. John and Barb came back to our parish in Pine River, Minnesota, and gave a wonderful presentation about the brothers here and what they do. And I was just blown away. My wife and I did some mission work when we were first married for 3 years in the United States.
Okay.
We didn't leave country. So we did it for 3 years, and then we started having a family. Now we have 9 children.
Wow.
And our children are starting to get old enough, and we wanted to introduce them to missionary life as an option, because in the United States it's not seen as an option. It's going to school, getting a job, that type of thing. But we wanted them to know that it's an option for your life to serve other people.
Yes.
So when they gave this presentation to us, I said, I'm going, and I'm going to I'm going to bring our kids. So my wife said, yes, go do it.
So you have 8 more trips to make.
I do. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah. So, so then I also, when I went back and told everybody about it, my family was like, we're going. So that's why they're all here.
Wonderful,
So,
wonderful.
Thank you for inviting us and letting us be a part of your lives.
Thank you for coming. Yes, yes. Another veteran?
Probably. This trip is a little bit sentimental for me because it's 14 years ago this month that I made my first trip here. And the poverty I saw here, I wasn't prepared for, because we didn't see this kind of poverty in the States. But it's been a wonderful experience. I love being part of the Missionary of the Poor family, and they are family.
Yes.
Today I had a really cute interaction with Jesse at Faith Center, and that's the one nice thing about when we volunteer, because when you come back, they all remember you. So Jesse was directing me on who to feed and when to feed and this and that. And when I'm doing feeding the last man, I'm going to touch your head, he was there caressing this man on the head, and he himself is disabled.
Yes.
And I was so touched by that. And I think we learn a lot from the residents and, of course, the brothers, and we're honored that we can partake in their prayer life.
Yes.
It's very, very special. And lastly, Chris and I wanted to be here for the 10-year remembrance of Brothers Suresh and Marco, because we were here the day of the funeral, totally unplanned, because we had planned the trip months before. So we're looking forward to being with the brothers for that.
Yes,
Thank
Donna.
you.
Thank you. Yes, great audience. I think we can take a commercial break with a guitar.
Sure.
John, when did you start playing the guitar?
Around 12 years old.
Okay, but when you're old.
When I was 12 years old, I started playing.
So all your life.
Yeah, so...
Yes, you play for your group and for liturgy?
Yeah, I play for liturgies at home in our home parish. And also I play for liturgies and at worship, times of worship for our community, the Brothers and Sisters of Charity.
Okay.
And other things too. Yeah, yeah. I like to go to group homes now. I go to Good Samaritan homes where there are the aged and who they just want to hear music. They just want to.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Be
it's
stimulated. Yeah.
yeah, and it seems like we even have a center in Pine River that reminds me a lot of the Good Shepherd Center. And I don't think would have noticed that it was there, except that we came here first. And when we got home, we said, "There's our brothers. There's our brothers and sisters right there."
Right home. Yes.
Yeah, so that the poor are with us, everywhere. And so this song here is, you mentioned it on Sunday, the cry of the poor. And if people can sing. The Lord hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be the Lord. The Lord hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be the Lord. Blessed be the Lord.
Yes, praise the Lord. Yes.
Amen.
Tom, any parting words? Any parting thoughts? Any defining experience you would like to share with us?
Defining experience was at Bethlehem yesterday, and having kids, the age that I have, you don't appreciate. You don't appreciate what you have.
Yes.
And the boys that couldn't move in the young boys' room, when I first got in, I wasn't sure how to interact with them. It was challenging. But there was one boy, Ashanti, who he's cute. He can't walk, but he can talk, and he's jabberjaws, and he was great. He was very entertaining. And there were two boys next to him who couldn't walk or really even move, and I didn't know if they could communicate. But as I started to touch them and feel their hand, they squeezed my hand back. And then I said, "I can see you in there," and they smiled. And then I knew, well, they can't communicate like I think they can communicate, but they know what I'm saying. They know that I'm there. And then I could smile. They smiled, and I would ask them to smile, and I could communicate. By the end of the day, I was communicating with both of them in their own way. And there was another boy in his crib who he couldn't. He had one arm. He learned how to take his shirt off with one arm. It was so cute. He learned how to take his shirt off with one arm, and then he could manipulate his shirt with his hand in his mouth. And he would throw his shirt at me, and I'd throw it back. And I'd count 1, 2, 3, and we'd count. And I had 4 or 5 of the boys. I have 2 boys at home. They just love to be boys. And by the end of the day, I was just, as much as I could, having this group of kids be boys. And it was just so fun. And I left there just appreciating what I had. It was great. It really was. So that was, for me, a touching moment that I can take back. And hopefully someday I can share that and have my kids experience that as well. So,
thanks, Tom. Yeah. Thank you. John, what is your defining moment, or one of the defining moments?
I guess the moment that's in my mind right now is at the Good Shepherd residence. One of the residents is Anthony, and his legs are paralyzed, and his arms are paralyzed, and he can't really use his tongue very much. And I spent a lot of time with him yesterday, feeding him and just being with him. I got a wheelchair, and I put the wheelchair near him, and I just sat by him, just to be friends. And he had he had a muscle spasm while I was with him. And he was in so much pain. Again, it wasn't like Tom. It wasn't anything that I could do except be with him, and also bring over the brothers, who then very compassionately helped him with the pain. Yeah, to
massage.
Yeah, to massage, and I continue the massage. And then today, as I was working with children who have the same condition.
Yes. Disabled.
I could see that continuity and how much compassion is needed throughout a lifetime.
But only Jesus can give it.
But only Jesus can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Does it through us, but it's from Him.
Yes.
It's His power.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very powerful for me.
Thanks for sharing so deeply and wonderfully. You know, it has really been a very, very inspiring evening.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Exalt Him, you people. Praise the Lord. 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 Exalt Him, you people. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Thanks for watching The Church and the Poor. Have a good day.